They said, sir, you could have changed the address up until the out for delivery point. Once it's on the truck out for delivery, you as the shipper lose any ability to cancel or change route or reroute the package. And I said, okay. I have eBay's customer service number. I called eBay up and I talked to a customer service rep and I said, hey, I went through the policy. And he's like, hold on one second. Let me pull up the policy. We'll read the policy together. I'll explain it to you and I'll give you the best advice. Because I explained to him the whole situation that happened. I'm glad this situation happened to me and I'm glad it played out the way it did. Welcome back, everybody. Well, August is in the books. Another month has passed, and we got some more sales data coming at you for the week. It's been an interesting week. Same average volume of sales, however, higher ticket items were selling. eBay rolled out a new cancellation policy that I think we need to talk about. We'll go over the end of the month YouTube analytics, and I'll show you guys what I made on YouTube for this month. I also really want to quickly say thank you, everybody, for leaving comments in last week's video with your support and your input on whether or not I should take brand deals. As of right now, the 3 that I was offered, I've turned them down. They are not the right fit for me, but the right fit will eventually come along one day, and if it does, you'll hear more about it in the future. Otherwise, let's go ahead and start jumping into the sales numbers. So this week, we had a return of investment of 675% and a net profit margin of 51%, which is where I like to live. We had a gross income of $530 and a net income of $270. As you can see for the week, we did not get skunked any day of this week, and Wednesday has been emerging as my #1 sales day. We had a $168.80 sales day, which was good enough for a net profit of $77.99. Top 10 return on investments by source. #1 this week is eBay remotes. So I talked about it last week. I did do another bulk purchase, very similar to how I did the sunglasses. This one was more auction. I won this auction style. I've heard a lot of the eBay YouTubers talk about how remotes are such a good investment and how it's good. I know J-Ride is big into remotes, Rockstar Flipper. So I decided to try my hand on it. I was watching a few auctions. I lost 4 of them in total, and I won 1, a lot of 100 remotes. I got that in on this Tuesday, and right now I'm just in the process of going through, cleaning and testing the remotes and getting them listed, and I've already made some sales on them, and one of them will be talked about this week. I sold 2 remotes this week so far, so already turning out to be a profitable venture. So I think, and here's another thing I like about doing remotes and sunglasses. The space. They take up less space and they have a great profit margin. So going forward, sunglasses and remotes are going to be 2 pillars of my business, as well as doing men's shirts, and I'm still going to be an everything seller whenever. I'm just going to start getting more selective. I am quickly approaching 1,000 items in my store, and the biggest issue with the more items you get into your store is obviously storage space. I have the room. I'm buying the racks, building the racks as I need them and as I go along for inventory and storage. But I kind of want to consolidate to start selling more smaller things like remotes and sunglasses, just for the simple fact they take up less space. So I think a lot of the stuff that I have, as I phase it out, I'm not going to be replacing it with similar. The things that I will do that still take up a lot of space, I'm always going to be doing vintage electronics and vintage stereos, and you're going to find out why I'm never going to give that up this week when we go through our top 10. But I think I really want to do this hybrid niche of like specializing in 3 to 4 different things, and I really like that area of where I live. So eBay remotes was the #1 return on investment so far this week. Then Goodwill, garage sales, St. Vinny's, and then tried and true sunglasses hold the #5 spot. Listings by source this week. Sunglasses is obviously the most, and then I got the remotes in on Tuesday, so they're taking 2. How I'm doing this is I'm sticking to the 12 listing a day approach, and I'm going to do I'm going to release 3 pair of sunglasses every day, 3 remote controls every day, 3 shirts every day, or 3 articles of clothing, I should say, every single day. And then I'm going to do 3 random things in my death pile, and I'm going to start getting the death pile that I had down and under control a couple weeks ago. Now it's out of control again. but that's what I'm going to do. So that's going to be what I would like to do going forward. Once I don't know where I want to stop. I'm definitely going to go over 1,000. It might be 1,500 or 2,000 items is where I start to hit the brakes. And then what I'm going to do is once I hit that 1,500 or 2,000 items, I'm only going to list what gets sold in a day. So if I sell 4 items in a day, I'm only going to list 4 items that day, and I'm just going to maintain an average. But I haven't decided on what that final number is, where I want to get to and plateau at. But we'll figure it out once we get there. And with quarter 4 coming around, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm ready for quarter 4. I have all my supplies ready to go, so if things do start popping off and sales do jump through the roofs, I know I've got everything I need to get everything boxed, packaged, and ready for shipment. Average listing by price this week, vast majority remote controls and sunglasses are under $20, so we had 60 items that were under 20, and then 23 items that were between 20 and 50, nothing higher than that this week. I think I'm officially going to change my new daily goal to 12 because I maintained 12. It was pretty easy to do, relatively easy to do with the current situation of my life, because this was good for me to run it if I could maintain 12 a day while I didn't have class going on, because I'm restarting college, second semester of college tomorrow, and I think I can still maintain 12 listings a day while doing classes, while sourcing, while doing all my other life obligations. We had 18 sales this week. Average time for something in my store to sell was 27 days. And I spent a total of $189 this week on new inventory. Number 10 was this Island Importer linen button-up shirt. I picked this shirt up at a Goodwill for $3.42. It sold on eBay for $21.27, which was $14.52 for the shirt and $6.75 for the shipping. It had a fixed final value fee of 40 cents, a final value fee of $2.88. The actual cost to ship this item was $5.15, and it had a net return of $9.42, good enough for a 275% return on investment and a net profit margin of 44%. Number 9 sale of the week is this Under Armour men's XXL sleeveless V-neck sweater vest. I picked this up at a Goodwill for $4.07. It sold on eBay for $23.70, which was $15 for the sweater vest and $18.70 for the shipping. It had a fixed final value fee of 40 cents, a final value fee of $3.12. The actual cost to ship this item was $5.32, good enough for a net return of $10.75, which was a 265% return on investment and a 46% net profit margin. Number 8 sale of the week, and I'm glad to see sunglasses make it, were these new with tags West Loop sunglasses, Starlight White. As you guys know, I purchased these on eBay for $1.12. They sold on eBay for $20.43. That was $14.98 for the sunglasses and $5.45 for the shipping. It had a fixed final value fee of $2.70. These did sell on an ad, so I owed eBay 44 cents. Cost to ship this item was $4.19, which was good enough for an $11.58 net return, which was a 1,034% return on investment, which is a 57% net profit margin. Number 7 sale of the week is this new with tags Green Bay Packers New Era 950 2023 sideline NFL snapback cap. I picked this up during the Green Bay trip at a St. Vincent de Paul's. I picked this up for $4.06. It sold on eBay for $25.95. That was $20 for the hat and $5.95 for the shipping. It had a fixed final value fee of 40 cents, a final value fee of $3.43. This did sell on an ad, so I owed eBay 56 cents. Cost to ship this item was $4.43, which was good enough for a $13.07 net return, which was a 322% return on investment and a 50% net profit margin. And the number 6 sale of the week is this Toshiba CT874 remote control. So I purchased a bulk lot of 100 remotes, all with backs on. That was the big thing for me. They were untested, so I don't know if all the remotes work or not. I'm going through, I'm cleaning them. I also do have a soldering iron, and I'm building my skills with soldering to, if I ever do come across a remote that is broken, I think I have the skills to actually fix it now. And but this Toshiba was in there, pulled it out, cleaned everything up really good, got it nice and back to looking good. tested it out. And here's the big thing that I want to talk about with remotes or any electronic product or any mechanical product you sell on eBay. I strongly recommend taking the time and making a 10-second video for all products showing that they work on video. I know for me as a shopper, when I see that there's a video and it shows me the product working, it's instantly going to make me want to purchase that product compared to a competitor's overall. So with my remotes, one thing I'm doing is I'm taking video of pointing the IR sensor at the camera, 10-second video, show the remote, point the IR sensor, and then hit random buttons on the keypad to show everybody who's shopping for this remote, hey, this remote works, because you can see the infrared sensor light up on a cell phone camera. I know that's not a hidden secret, everybody knows that, but not a lot of people who sell remote controls take a video of the remote control working. I feel it's going to be a competitive edge I have for anybody selling the same remote control. And a lot of the remote controls I have, there's many on the market, and prices fluctuate on every single remote control. Like you can get one remote listed for $2 and there'll be another one listed for $15. When you show that it's working, you can command that higher price range of the product. So this was my first remote. I was really surprised once I got this one cleaned up, tested it, worked, got the video. When I went to do the listing and I started doing the research, I saw that on the high end, this remote was selling for $20. On the low end, it was selling between $10 and $12. And I noticed shipping was irrelevant. Didn't matter if it was free shipping or you're charged for shipping. The remote had a pretty good sell-through rate. And but the big thing I noticed is every single one of the ones sold in the title said tested and worked. But when I went in for the listings that I could see, because for some reason when they're sold listings, you can see some sold listings and you can't see other sold listings. But the ones that I all went into that all said tested and worked, none of them had a video. So I was like, I'm just going to do a video for every remote control. I think it'll better my odds. It adds an extra 15 minutes to my listing process overall when I'm doing it in bulk, just doing a video of every remote, but I think it's beneficial. So I purchased this for $1.14 in an online auction, and it sold on eBay for $25.33, which was $19.98 for the remote and $5.35 for the shipping. It had a fixed final value fee of 40 cents, a final value fee of $3.34. Cost to ship this item was $4.43, which was good enough for a $16.02 net return, which was a return of investment of 1,405%, which is a 63% net profit margin. Also, if you notice, time to sell. From the point I listed it, from the point it sold, was 6 hours. This one flew off the shelf. A lot of my remotes are not going to fly off the shelf. I know I'm going to be hanging on to them for a long time. And another thing is, as I find broken ones, I will be adjusting the purchase price for all of the remotes, because it's $1.14 because I purchased 100, and for the cost of the remotes plus the shipping was $114. I can't make it any simpler than that. That's just what the total worked out to be. But if I come across broken remotes that I can't fix, I will be adjusting the cost of all remote control, the cost of goods on all my remote controls accordingly. But as of right now, I haven't come across any broken ones, so it's sitting at $1.14 for a cost of goods for each one of these remotes. And this wasn't the only remote that sold this week. This was the only remote that made it into the top 10, though. And the number 5 sale of the week is this Batman, Bruce Wayne to Batman Artissimo Wall Art Decor, 3 foot by 10 inches. I picked this up at the Goodwill trip when I went to Green Bay last Wednesday that I talked to you about. I was at a Goodwill and they had quite a bit of DC art. I picked up this piece. I also picked up a Superman and a Wonder Woman 8 by 10 hand-painted picture. Like, it was just a regular hand-painted canvas picture, and then what they did is they took scenes from the comic and overlaid them onto the painting, so it gives it like this 3D effect. And on the Wonder Woman one, they put like gold string in it, like, so it gives it a 3D effect for the lasso and that. But this is the first one that sold. It sold in 8 hours. I picked this up for $3.20. It sold on eBay for $35 even, which was $20 for the painting and $15 for the shipping. It had a fixed final value fee of 40 cents, a final value fee of $4.61. The actual cost to ship this item was $9.57, which was good enough for a $17.22 net return, which was a 538% return on investment and a net profit margin of 49%. Now, This item has two distinct has a feature of something that I've encountered for the first time in my eBay selling career in two different areas. So I put a $15 shipping on it because when I initially didn't package it, I just measured it out, did the initial weight, didn't know what the exact weight was going to come out to once it was packaged, and I decided to put a $15 flat rate shipping on it. I figured that would cover me more than enough, and my $15 flat rate is for USPS. So this sold in 8 hours, and when I came out and I packaged it up and then did its final weight, I actually discovered it was cheaper to send this UPS than it was USPS ground, and USPS ground actually would get it to the customer faster. But it was cheaper for me to ship it for USPS. However, if I would have listed it as for USPS, it would have been more expensive for the customer. So with my eBay discount for UPS and UPS, it just so happened to be cheaper for me to send this UPS. So I never want to change the shipping service that the customer paid without at least asking them. And I reached out to the customer saying, hey, would you mind if I ship this UPS? It'll get to you faster. Didn't have a problem with it at all. So I shipped it UPS, which to send it USPS was $16. It would cost me $16 to ship it. To send it UPS, it cost me $9.57. It would have been more expensive on the customer had I selected UPS. So he got a better shipping service. I got to pay less for the shipping. And this is less than a week. I shipped this out, I believe, on Tuesday. He's already gotten the painting, and he's already left a supremely positive feedback saying how happy he was and he would be buying from me again, which is awesome. So it worked out for everybody involved. Usually, though, I would never change the shipping service that's listed on the item that they bought. But in this case, I thought, to save almost $10, let me at least reach out and ask the guy if he doesn't mind if I ship it through a better service for him, which he was totally fine with. So that was the number 5 sale of the week. Number 4 sale of the week is this NFL Team Apparel XL jersey, Jordy Nelson, number 87 for the Green Bay Packers. I picked this item up at a Goodwill for $3.11. I actually believe the first ever Source With Me video I did, I picked this jersey up in that video for $3.11. It sold on eBay for $31.73, which was $24.98 for the jersey and $6.75 for the shipping. It had a fixed final value fee of 40 cents, a final value fee of $4.29. The actual cost to ship this item was $5.15, which was good enough for an $18.78 net return, which is a 604% return on investment, which is a 59% net profit margin. Hey, bud, you gonna let me do my job? You gonna let me make a video for everybody? Bandit wants some affection. And the number 3 sale of the week is this new with tags Milwaukee Brewers Majestic Women's Large Jersey in white. I picked this jersey up at a St. Vincent de Paul's for $3.09. It sold on eBay for $35.88, which was $29.98 for the jersey and $5.90 for the shipping. It had a fixed final value fee of 40 cents, a final value fee of $4.81. It did sell on an ad, so I owed eBay 78 cents. Cost to ship this item was $4.38, which was good enough for a $22.42 net return, which is a return of investment of 726% and a net profit margin of 62%. Number 2 sale of the week is this Emerson 19-inch LCD HD TV DVD player combo. I picked this up at a garage sale the second month of doing this. I was like 1 month into this journey. When I was there, I was at the garage sale. The lady was trying to sell me everything. She had a lot of stuff, and she had this TV marked for $40. And I looked at it and had the remote, and it was in pristine condition. Like, it was well kept. It was her husband's camp TV. Like, this was the TV they had up at camp. He passed away. And now she was having a big rummage sale this summer just to get rid of a lot of stuff. And this was in mint condition, remote worked. I did the comp sales on it, and it had a great sell-through rate. I believe it had something like a 65% sell-through rate, if I remember correctly. And they were all of them were going for about $60 in that area. Obviously, $40 was way too much for it. After purchasing a few things and bundling some stuff, she did end up selling me this TV for $20. It sold on eBay for $77.49, which was $52.49 for the TV and $25 flat shipping fee. It had a fixed final value fee of 40 cents, a final value fee of $7.30. It did sell on an ad, so I owed eBay $1.62. Cost to ship this item was $22.17, which was good enough for a $26 even net return, which was a 130% return on investment and a net profit margin of 34%. And the number one sale of the week is this Panasonic record player, cassette deck, AM/FM radio. Now, for those who watch this channel and watch my Source With Me videos, this came from the second episode of the Source With Me, where I told myself, Paul, don't buy any more stereos. You have enough. They're taking up too much space. And as soon as I got to the store, they had 3 big stereos, 2 of which ended up having some malfunction with them. Something in them was broken. This was the one that was in complete working order. I picked this up for a $3.07 cost of goods. It sold on eBay for $97.99, which was $62.99 for the stereo and $35 for the shipping. It had a fixed final value fee of 40 cents, a final value fee of $9.26. This did sell on an ad, so I owed eBay $2.06. The actual cost to ship this item was $23.32, which was good enough for a $59.88 net return, which is a return of investment of 1,950% and a 61% net profit margin. This is why I like stereos, because you're always going to make money off them, whether they're working or broken. If they're working, you're going to make substantially more money. If they're broken, you are still going to at least double to 3 times your investment into it. So this worked out well, and this was also one that you guys were able to actually see me pick up and purchase in a video. So that concludes our top 10. First off, let's get the business out of the way and talk about August in YouTube. YouTube hasn't updated the last day of my views, but as you guys can see, for the month of August, I've made $61.29. Probably add another $1 to $2 after that once they finally process the last day. Currently, I am making $7.60 for every single 1,000 views I get. So every time 1,000 of you beautiful people watch my episodes, I get $7.60. And I can't thank you guys enough. In comparison to July, in July, my first month getting monetized on YouTube, I made $46.12. So substantial increase in the amount of revenue drawn in this week. That is 100% thanks to you. Also, it's thanks to my 3 channel members. Their ads in, and if you guys watch this on premium, the breakdown of how you get paid through AdSense is between ads watched and premium subscribers. And I have a lot of people who have YouTube Premium who watch this, so I thank all of you for your viewership. It is truly appreciated, and the views add up, and this is great for me. You don't actually get paid until you have $100, so I finally met the threshold to get a paycheck next month, which is awesome, and I am extremely happy with this. $61 a month is 2 tanks of gas for me to go outsourcing, so that's huge. That's a game changer for me, actually. So I thank you guys for viewing. That's what I made this month in YouTube. If you have any questions about YouTube monetization, I am by no means an expert, but if you have any questions, I can tell you what I've learned thus far and things that I've noticed with the YouTube algorithm and how things work. Just let me know and ask. All right, next up, I wanted to talk about eBay's new cancellation policy. For those who are resellers, this will matter to you. And if you guys buy things on eBay, this will matter to you as well. So they just changed the policy. So now, from the time a customer purchases the item to the point the seller ships their label, they have a button, the buyer has a button on there, and that they can cancel for any reason and end the sale. Which they didn't have in the past. They always had to reach out to the seller to ask to cancel it, and then it was up to the seller to cancel it. Now, it's up until the point the label's made. Even once the label's made, they lose the ability to press the button automatically, but they can still reach out to the seller to see if they want to cancel the sale, and where it goes from there. and this is obviously a big buzz right now in the selling community because it just came out this week. Where I stand on it is I think it's great. If a customer accidentally made a purchase, it saves that awkward conversation between the point they purchased it and the point that the shipping label's made. Now, I am weird, and I'm curious to know if you guys have any weird things in your eBay reselling business. From day one, I think something that I do that is weird that not a lot of other sellers do is the second I get a sale, I come out here and I package the item up immediately and I print the shipping label and I put it in my outgoing mail right away. It doesn't matter if it's 9 o'clock in the morning or 10:30 at night. If I get a sale, I'm home and I see that I have the sale, I package it right away. If I'm out sourcing or I'm out doing something else and I get a sale while I'm gone, the second I get back to my house, I package up and I print a shipping label. So that part, if they're able to cancel it between that point, doesn't bother me one bit. If they cancel it after I create the shipping label, it doesn't bother me. I now have had enough experience canceling labels with all the delivery services that I know I'm not going to lose money. I just lose money for like the next 2 weeks, waiting to get it back once they realize the tag's not being used. So that doesn't bother me either. And then once something's shipped, you can't cancel it. That's where I'm going to be like, I'd have to tell a customer, I'm sorry, I've already shipped the item, and the process goes through. And with that cancellation policy, eBay laid out what the seller protections are, and the seller protections are actually really great from eBay. They're saying once you print the label, it's 100% the seller's discretion on whether or not they want to accept a cancellation. If it's prior to printing the label, the seller doesn't have any discretion, which I think is fine. I think that's fair. I think eBay's handling this very, very fair. I don't see this being a big issue. I did with the #1 sale this week. I did have a weird scenario arise with it. That stereo was sent via FedEx. It was purchased Sunday night going into Monday while I was sleeping. So I woke up, packaged it, printed the label right away in the morning, drove it to FedEx, dropped it off at FedEx, and was it yesterday? Friday afternoon, I went and had breakfast with my mom. I was hanging out with her, and on my way back, I got a message from the buyer for the stereo, and there were some red flags in the message, which I thought were weird. It said, hello, gentle person. I purchased the stereo from you, and I see that it's out for delivery. So it was on the truck being delivered to the house, and he said, I noticed that I didn't put the right address in. I put my old address in eBay. Could you change the address to my new address? And then he gave me his new address. And this is the first time I ever encountered anything like that in my eBay store. And I was like, right away, when something's new, not anxiety, but that like, oh man, how do I deal with this situation? So I right away, not knowing what to do, I gave FedEx a call and I talked to their customer service department and I explained the situation. And they said, sir, you could have changed the address up until the out for delivery point. Once it's on the truck out for delivery, you as the shipper lose any ability to cancel or change route or reroute the package. And I said, okay. So then I did my first message back to the customer and I said, hey, I just got off the phone with FedEx customer service. And they told me that I no longer have the ability as the shipper to reroute the package anywhere because it's out for delivery. And I left the message at that. Now, cheap commercial for Flipwise. When you have a Flipwise subscription, you get access to the Flipwise Discord. And I call the Flipwise Discord my circle of elders, because a lot of senior resellers with great advice. I went over to the Flipwise chat and I explained the situation to the sellers in Flipwise chat. And shout out to Detroit Thrifter, if you ever watch this. He provided me with some solid advice. He's like, don't ever reroute a package under any circumstances. If anything, you want to cancel the sale altogether, relist the product, and have the customer repurchase the product, which I known that, and I would have done that had I not already shipped the item. It was that layer of I already shipped the item and it was out for delivery, which, by the way, it being out for delivery saved my tail in this one. So after talking to them, I decided I want to look at the eBay policy on changing an address, and I have eBay's customer service number. I called eBay up and I talked to a customer service rep and I said, hey, I went through the policy. And he's like, hold on one second. Let me pull up the policy. We'll read the policy together. I'll explain it to you and I'll give you the best advice. Because I explained to him the whole situation that happened. He went through and read the chat logs of the transaction. And he told me the policy is under no circumstances. There is not a circumstance ever where you deviate from the address that was in the sale, because you have the ability to change the address through a service provider. And if you do that as a seller, you lose all seller protections under eBay's policy, which I thought was great to know, because had I not known that small detail, I would have done that in the future. If somebody's like, hey, I put the wrong address into eBay, can you reroute it? If I had the ability, I would have done it. I'm glad this situation happened to me, and I'm glad it played out the way it did. So I didn't change the address and I'm glad I didn't, because it's against eBay's policies to change an address after a purchase. And eBay told me, had you changed the address in this scenario, like if you were able to do it, and then he filed a item did not arrive, he said you'd have been on the hook. Now it's been delivered. That package is delivered to the address you had, and you purchased the label through us. He said that's another thing. You have extra protections under eBay's policy when you purchase the label through us, which that I didn't know. So it's another reason I'm glad I purchased my labels through eBay. But he said if you would have changed the address, you'd have been on the hook and you'd have lost the money in the transaction based on our policies. Now, if he files a package not delivered, he said all you've got to do is you don't even have to submit tracking, because you purchased the label through us. We'll validate the tracking and you're good. The money's yours. You're locked in. Package is delivered. You did your part. So that's just good for everybody to know. If you ever get it, if you are new to selling or you're planning on getting into reselling and you run into this, here's how I'm going to deal with it in the future if it ever happens. After I've already shipped it, I'm going to flat out say, I'm sorry, it's against eBay policies to change an address after shipment. I would recommend either reaching out to the person who lives at the new address, if you know them, or I'll wait for it to get kicked back to me, because if the person who lives at that address does the right thing, they'll return to sender. When they return the package back to me, I will forward it to your new address at that point. I would actually reach out to eBay and see how they want me to handle it. If they want me to relist the item and actually sell it to this person, or how to deal with the transaction at that point. But whatever you do, don't change your address after you do it. Oh, what else we got this week? This was a nice, comfortable week. Not having college on my plate, taking away time in that area. I was able to get a lot accomplished. I'm definitely working on the organization and structure to maximize my storage space, to put inventory. That's been a big thing I've been working on this week. I start my second semester of college this week. This semester I'll be doing English and history, knocking those two electives out. And I think this is going to be my last semester where I'm just doing only general electives, and I'm going to start getting into the graphic design courses, which is what I'm really excited about. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else for you guys. If you're new here and you like what you saw, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed what you watch, hit the like button. It helps me out in the algorithm. I hope all of you had a great week, and I hope all of you have a great week to come. And we will definitely see you next Sunday with some eBay sales data. Have a great week, everyone.